Chapter 401, Pill Controlling Technique. The first spirit tide was destroyed. The 800 kilograms worth of crimson refinement gunpowder produced earlier was all completely used up. The army instantly gave the order to continue production. They also sent in large amounts of ingredients, almost to the point where the production team wasn't able to use them up. But Feng Lin had completely freed himself from this. Right now, everyone in the refinement team had learned the technique and could operate on their own. And as they grew more experienced and proficient with the technique, their production rate increased tremendously, reaching roughly 150 kilograms per day. This amount was truly shocking. The army would send people here to collect the crimson refinement gunpowder every day, and they also constructed special cannons to deal greater damage to the spirit race. The atmosphere within the Great Wall University was extremely nervous and intense. However, Feng Lin simply ignored all external matters and focused on his cultivation in closed-door seclusion. But the poor are ignored in the busiest city, while the rich will find relatives in the deepest mountain. Although he entered closed-door cultivation, he didn't obtain the peace and quiet he sought. His ID microchip kept ringing with notifications. There would constantly be people sending various messages to him. Feng Lin, I'm Fei Luo, a third year from the Great Wall University, and I'm the chairman of the Star Battle Society, which is ranked among the top 10 societies. The killing might of your crimson refinement gunpowder is extremely powerful, and thus we are keen to work with you to research a new type of ammunition that can be used to deal with the spirit race. This opportunity is extremely rare to come by. If you don't reply within 3 hours, I will take it that you are not keen. The tone of the voice was filled with arrogance. Feng Lin didn't even bother to look at it. I'm Chen Ji, an elite adept from the Medicinal Refinement Society. Your crimson refinement gunpowder isn't bad, but you should share the recipe and technique to benefit all of humanity. If I can join in, my production scale would definitely exceed your tiny team's. I'm a fourth-year student from the Martial Academy. I'm willing to take out 100,000 contribution points to buy 100 kilograms worth of crimson refinement gunpowder. If you are keen, we can set a meetup. Hi, I'm a senior from the Mythology Academy and I've obtained your contact information from Master Hai. I'm already a medicinal refinement grandmaster and I wonder if I can join your team to learn the crimson refinement creation technique. There were all sorts of messages. The majority of them were about the crimson refinement gunpowder, while the minority were people asking to join the crimson refinement team. But how could Feng Lin have the mood to bother with their requests? He just felt that they were extremely troublesome. He also had no idea how the majority of these people managed to get his contact information. They must have pulled out the stops and used all types of methods. The crimson refinement gunpowder was treated as a military-grade object, and all the products from the team would be given to the army for them to decide what to do. Unless the creator Feng Lin concocted some by himself and agreed to have private transactions with these people, they would never obtain any. But he had long started on new research. He was no longer content to just concoct the crimson refinement gunpowder. One must know that even the main object, the crimson refinement cinnabar pill, was simply one of the most ordinary types of alchemy pill in the alchemy arts he inherited. Before the war against the spirit race was over, Feng Lin truly didn't have the time to spare. There was boundless terror in the universe. Those races who could survive until now were not ordinary, let alone a terrifying one such as the spirit race. He specifically searched for information pertaining to the spirit race. He needed to understand everything he could about them, their body structures, the way they evolved. They evolved faster than other races because they didn't have the constraints of a physical body. The spirit mother would adapt its genetic code according to different environments, giving birth to different types of spirit monsters. After suffering a huge disadvantage in the first clash, the spirit race would surely evolve themselves quickly to better adapt to the effects of the crimson refinement gunpowder. Feng Lin surely had to make preparations for this. After the first clash with the spirit race, he understood the fearsomeness of them more and more. Other people might neglect this point, but he wouldn't. Feng Lin instantly treated this point as the topic of his research. He wanted to search for more external refinement alchemy pills that could do even greater damage to energy-type life forms. Although external alchemy pills were only about 10% of the furnace alchemy sect's inheritance, the number of pills recorded was significant. The types of cinnabar pills recipes are all different, each contained a wondrous effect. Feng Lin quickly browsed and searched for an upgrade to the Crimson Refinement Cinnabar pill. He soon chose another recipe. The name of this pill was known as the Crimson Gold Cinnabar. The ingredients needed for the Crimson Gold Cinnabar were Spirit Fire crystals, Sky River Gold, Black Crystal Ore, and Star Sand. All the materials contained the attributes of fire, and the end product would resemble golden sand, causing a golden fire that was capable of incinerating everything to manifest. It was also a cinnabar-type pill. But for the same amount, the Crimson Gold Cinnabar pill could unleash 100x the might of Crimson Refinement Cinnabar pill. It was extremely dangerous. Because they resembled golden particles of sand, they looked extremely similar to tiny crystals. There was no need to simplify the process, and the might level explosively surged. Although the cost of the ingredients was 10 times more expensive, Feng Lin didn't worry about this. He used his fame from inventing the Crimson Refinement gunpowder to obtain vast amounts of medical ingredients from the army. He didn't even need to spend a single contribution point for them. In truth, the Crimson Gold Cinnabar pill was an advanced version of the Crimson Refinement Cinnabar pill. The majority of the ingredients stayed the same, and there were only roughly 10 types of valuable ingredients that were new. Very soon, the army approved his request and sent a huge amount of medical ingredients to him. Feng Lin meticulously deduced the concoction process and began to act. Furnace activate. The true fire blazed brilliantly. The crimson fire crystal, the Sky River Gold, the Star Sand, the Black Crystal Ores, all the main ingredients were placed into the furnace following a detailed order. They then fused together and melted down into liquid form. Solidify. He performed hand seals as his vast spirit force entered the furnace, controlling the strength of the flames to fuse the ingredients into a sphere-like shape. Crimson light flashed as the medicinal properties were combined together. All impurities were also evaporated. Fire weakens. The true fire within the furnace could sense his will. The flames weakened, nurturing and seeping into the pill slowly. The pill slowly turned golden, radiating treasure light. Just a single glance was sufficient to tell that this wasn't an ordinary object. He was about to succeed. Now, only the final step of the pill collection was left. However, he didn't have experience and a mistake occurred. The violent medical potency erupted forth, causing the air to tremble. Luckily, the furnace was a mythological object from ancient times and was incomparably tough. The explosion didn't damage it. If the violent energies from the explosion leaked out, the entire refinement chamber would be blasted to the skies. But the more it was so, the more one could tell that the might of the Crimson Gold Cinnabar pill was extraordinary. Feng Lin reviewed his mistakes and continued with his second attempt. The earlier processes flowed smoothly like flowing water. Pill collection. This time, he didn't make another mistake. The furnace opened up as a golden alchemy pill floated silently toward his hand. A crimson golden light radiated from it and flowed around the pill like water. This pill was clearly extraordinary. Just by holding it in his palm, Feng Lin could clearly sense its boundlessly vast firepower with his spirit force. The power was like a surging magma inside a volcano, fully prepared to erupt at any moment. Its might was simply unfathomable. The method to use this pill was also unique. One had to use a special type of pill controlling technique to control it as they willed. However, this pill was only a one-time use treasure, although it was extremely extraordinary. In ancient times, this item was a crucial catalyst for many lightning and thunder-type formations. Feng Lin had a faint premonition. Maybe, this Crimson Gold Cinnabar could become one of his killing trump cards. In fact, he was now actually anticipating the arrival of the spirit race. Only at that time could he truly test out how powerful this new killing trump card of his was. Chapter 402, The First Mythological Remnant. Name, Phong Lin. Vitality stat, 5280. Heaven gene, Monkey King gene x4, Dowheart gene x2. Transcendent gene, Spiritual Stone Monkey gene x10, Beast King gene x10, Minute Knowledge gene x9, Meditation gene x8. Genetic potential, 320. His life information was upgraded again. Monkey King gene +1, Dowheart gene +1. After spending 7 days of effort, Phong Lin had swallowed all his 9 Revolutions birth transformations pills, using them all for his cultivation. He had then gotten 2 more free genetic points and strengthened both his heaven genes respectively. His vitality stats also broke through 5,000 as he entered a higher life evolutionary level. Although consuming medicinal pills in such great amounts would cause the majority of the medicinal potency to be stuck in one's body, now that the war against the spirit race was about to arrive, Phong Lin couldn't care too much. He had awakened the Beast King gene and had the art of transforming energy into qi. As long as he spent some time, he would be able to refine these medicinal potency residues. It wouldn't be a difficult thing to do. He would only need to spend some time to resolve everything. The most important thing now was to do his best to enhance his strength as quickly as possible. Under the latest information collected by the Great Wall University, the spirit race was currently rushing over. They had even increased their speed and would arrive here one day earlier than the previous forecast. Most probably, they didn't wish to give the Great Wall University enough time to make too many preparations. The Great Wall University had already entered a state of vigilance. The atmosphere grew increasingly nervous and tense. Even though Phong Lin was holed up inside his refinement chamber, he could still sense the atmosphere clearly. During these days, Phong Lin continuously attempted to perfect his pill concocting technique and finally, it reached the point of perfection. Inside his chamber, a golden pill flew about in the air under his control. Explode. Phong Lin performed the relevant hand gestures as he suddenly roared. The crimson gold cinnabar abruptly exploded, transforming into a red mist filled with golden flecks and radiating a piercing light. Through the AI scan, the temperature here abruptly rose to over 10,000 degrees before rapidly cooling to -200 degrees. This was a cooling reaction from the rapid depletion of energy in space. Between hot and cold, the violent reactions of energy would produce a killing might that was very effective against energy lifeforms. It was naturally difficult for the spirit race to resist this. Compared to the lower-grade crimson refinement cinnabar pills, the power of this crimson gold cinnabar pill was at least 10 times greater. Everything had been prepared, the only thing left to do was to wait for the arrival of the spirit race. Phong Lin couldn't help but feel somewhat impatient with regard to the arrival of the alien race. That was extremely terrifying in the eyes of many. He wanted to test his new trump cards out. Ring, ring. All of a sudden, his doorbell rang, waking him from his current mental state. An uninvited guest, a heroic-looking young woman with a ponytail, had arrived. She was none other than Zhao Yui, someone Phong Lin was very familiar with. What is her purpose in suddenly coming here? With regard to this martial queen of the Great Wall University, Phong Lin had a very deep impression of her. Because the mythological path she was on might very well be one of the top-tier ones among Huaxia mythology, the path of the Jinmu Emperor. A female was walking on such a tyrannical path. This was the first time Phong Lin had seen this. He naturally wouldn't forget her so easily. Phong Lin opened the door and allowed the visitor to enter. Just by casting a glance at him, Zhao Yui's eyes began to shine. There was an ancient saying, when people don't see each other for 3 days, when they next meet again, they might see someone in a new light. It had already been a month, and she didn't simply have a whole new level of respect for Phong Lin. In such a short time, he had grown so strong so quickly. Even if it was her, she wouldn't be able to match his growth rate. You've grown stronger again. Zhao Yui praised, her tone was filled with intense battle intent. I'm increasingly looking forward to the time when you break through to the elite adept realm. At that time, you would surely be a good opponent for me. For ordinary people, they would surely be stupefied by this praise from the highly revered martial queen of the Great Wall University. However, Feng Lin was as calm as ever. He smiled and nodded his head. Senior Sister Zhao, you are too polite. I wonder what is your purpose in looking for me today? The spirit race army was about to attack. In such a sensitive time, she actually came here to look for him, so there would surely be a reason behind it. Feng Lin calmly continued to listen on. Zhao Yui smiled. I came here today because I wish to cooperate with you again. Cooperation? How? Feng Lin couldn't help but be slightly startled. Take a look at this object first. Zhao Yui smiled mysteriously. She took out an alloy box that was the color of faded black. It suddenly turned transparent, and a triangular-shaped banner could be seen within. This banner was as black as ink and had complicated, mysterious curvy patterns on it like snakes slithering on the ground. The patterns vaguely formed the shape of an eye and radiated an ancient aura. Evidently, this object had a very long history. It wasn't something created in the interstellar era. Feng Lin stared at it for a long time as he suddenly fell into an illusion. The patterns of the eye flickered like a strange life form blinking its eyes. A mysterious surge of energy permeated the area, causing him to feel giddy. That eye started to spin around. It was like waving something at him, wanting to absorb his soul into the banner. Droop, droop, droop. Feng Lin's eyelids began to droop as his eyes turned misty. But he instantly perceived that something was wrong. His Monkey King gene activated as his heart monkey force gushed out, causing him to awaken as clarity returned to his eyes. That mysterious and bizarre soul energy was broken. With just a glance at the banner, he was suddenly subjected to an invisible form of mesmerization. Feng Lin was extremely shocked. Could this be a mythological remnant? That's right. Zhao Yu nodded, her eyes shining with intense curiosity. What she didn't say was that this black banner wasn't an ordinary mythological remnant. For people who encountered this particular mythological remnant for the first time, if they weren't prepared, they would easily fall into a dazed state for a long period. Upon seeing Feng Lin staring at the banner earlier, Zhao Yui was initially prepared to forcefully wake him up. However, she didn't expect Feng Lin to be able to awaken by himself. His will was truly powerful. It is truly a waste that someone with such a powerful will like him doesn't belong to the martial academy and focus on training the martial path. She couldn't help but sigh silently in her heart. A mythological remnant? Feng Lin silently marveled. He just created the Mythological Collection Society and didn't expect to receive the first mythological remnant object so quickly. Excitement involuntarily bubbled up in his heart. What is this exactly? He didn't beat around the bush and asked. Zhao Yui didn't hide anything. It was tough to explain clearly using words. She directly sent the information over. Mythological Remnant Object 1096. Danger level, extremely dangerous. Special storage required, discovered in a vacuum environment, do not allow it to come in contact with others casually. Description of special mythology characteristics, it takes the form of a banner and is a remnant from ancient times. One must not look straight at it, as it has the ability to baffle and bedazzle people. It is also able to disrupt the mental states of people. Those with weaker wills would find it tough to resist, and staring at it long enough might lead to them suffering brain damage and becoming brain dead. Bafflement, bedazzle, mental disruption? This object is a mythological remnant that was discovered by my true martial society by chance. I heard that you recently established a mythological collection society that specializes in collecting mythological objects. Can you tell me some in-depth information about this? Zhao Yui straightforwardly asked. She even knows about this? This Zhao Yui truly had a great deal of information about him. Feng Lin nodded his head. I can try. He also felt curious. He slowly closed his eyes and sent out his mental force into the black banner. He instantly felt as though he had fallen into a dark space. Thick black fog churned wildly as a mysterious terrifying sound rang out, seemingly originating from ancient times, causing people to fall into an illusion-scape. Soul, return. Soul, return. An ancient summoning chant rang out, causing the hearts of those who heard it to feel chills. Their minds would sink endlessly into the illusion, leading to them unable to extricate themselves from it. A thought flashed through Feng Lin's mind as he abruptly opened his eyes. They shone with a bright light. Could this be the soul summoning banner? Chapter 403, Cooperation of the Strong. In the investitures of gods, there was an evil attribute magic treasure known as the soul summoning banner. It could summon the souls of people and kill from afar with no traces at all. That item shared some similarities to the object before his eyes. It was just that the object before him was heavily damaged, with only less than half of its original body existing. Its might was naturally reduced greatly as well. But even so, its mental effects toward people would truly be able to catch opponents unaware. Spirit life forms had no substances, and material attacks were useless toward them. Only energy or mental attacks could be effective to injure or kill them. If one could use this soul summoning banner flexibly, it would definitely be a powerful treasure against the spirit race. Feng Lin's heart involuntarily stirred as he continued to ask, Senior Sister Zhao. This mythological remnant is of great use to me. I wonder what do I have to give in exchange for this object? Seems like you are really very knowledgeable about mythological remnants and might even be able to use them effectively. Zhao Yui's eyes flashed with curiosity. I wonder if you can tell me what are the uses of this object exactly. Feng Lin was also unwilling to take advantage of her. He truthfully spoke, this is an evil attribute magic treasure from ancient times that can injure, kill people's souls, or affect their mental states. Its might is greatly reduced, but it still can be used through special methods. If you don't use special methods to control it, you might even suffer a backlash and damage your own mental state. Just so coincidentally, I know of an ancient sacrificial refinement method and I wish to try it out on the banner. If it fails, I can place it in my Mythology Collection Society and do further research on it. Who knows, there might be a day where I might truly be able to probe it further and discover its true usefulness. It can also be used as a treasure that can become the foundation of the society I created. So this was the case. This reason was reasonable and fair indeed. But what made Zhao Yu shocked was that Feng Lin actually even knew about the sacrificial refinement method who had been lost in time. This was a special method in the legends that could allow one to control mythological remnants. Although Feng Lin's cultivation wasn't high, he was shrouded in layers of fog. She felt like he was getting harder and harder to see through. Senior Sister Zhao, did you come here for the Crimson Refinement gunpowder as well? If you are willing to trade this object, I don't mind personally concocting some Crimson Refinement gunpowder for you. Feng Lin didn't feel that there was anything else of value he could offer. With the war against the spirit race being imminent, it was highly probable she came here for the Crimson Refinement gunpowder. I don't need that. Contrary to his expectations, Zhao Yu calmly rejected him. I didn't come here for this. Feng Lin couldn't help but grow curious. Zhao Yui smiled. I specially came here to pass this mythological remnant to you. There's only one reason why I did so. I just want to ask if you can allow me to join your Mythology Collection Society? You want to join my society? Feng Lin exclaimed. Zhao Yui was no ordinary character. She actually took the initiative to look for him to join his society, which was currently nothing but an empty shell. No matter how he looked at it, it didn't seem realistic. That's right. Zhao Yui nodded to show her resolve. I've done some research into your Mythology Collection Society. There are many miraculous medicinal substances there that are greatly beneficial to my true martial society. I want to join because I wish to see if I can use mythological remnants to exchange for some of those medical substances in the future. In truth, this can be considered cooperation between our two societies. What a well-thought-out plan. Feng Lin sighed in admiration. If she used the mythological remnants to exchange for crimson refinement gunpowder, that would only be a transaction. Transactions were always a one-time thing. In the future, no one would know when the next transaction would take place. But Zhao Yui was sharp enough to include the existence of the Mythology Collection Society, and he knew that she wanted to establish a cooperative relationship and a bridge linking her society to the medical substances Feng Lin could provide. In the future, she would be able to use mythological remnants to easily exchange for all sorts of genetic medicine he created, and even gain valuable mythological knowledge in return. After seeing through her purpose, Feng Lin didn't feel any disgust. Because this wasn't a bad matter to him. How should we cooperate exactly? Feng Lin asked the crux of the question. The premise of cooperation is for the two presidents, us, to join each other's societies. Only then can we understand and supervise the operation of our respective societies. You must know that our true martial society is a martial society, and we would often obtain mythological remnants on the battlefield. However, obtaining them wouldn't benefit our society too greatly. With the cooperation, we can use these remnants to exchange for genetic medicinal substances and mythology knowledge from you, which can assist the cultivation of our members. Our two societies can fill the needs we each other required, complementing perfectly and allowing both of us to develop with great speed. Feng Lin also felt the same way. This was truly a good thing. Currently, the Mythology Collection Society was just a new organization, and not many people knew of it. If he wanted to expand, there would be many difficulties. But if he cooperated with the true martial society established by this martial queen, he would naturally gain some invisible fame. It would be easier for him to recruit members as well. Also, this martial queen would join his society too. It would allow his Mythology Collection Society's rallying force to be greatly boosted. No matter what, this was extremely advantageous to him. Also, he had once cooperated with Zhao Yui before, both of them had a certain understanding of each other. Now that these two societies were about to cooperate, there would truly be countless benefits for both sides. Sure. Feng Lin didn't have a reason to reject. He instantly agreed. He then asked, our Mythology Collection Society's goal is to collect mythological objects. The nature of our society is very simple, we will not impose any restraints on Senior Sister Zhao. But I have a question. I will be joining your true martial society as an ordinary member. Is there anything I need to do? The true martial society was established for the sake of pursuing the true meaning of the martial path. There's a point system and one can use points to exchange for genetic martial arts. There are also many ways to obtain points. You can accomplish the missions given by the society, you can present cultivation resources or exchange martial arts to broaden our library base. In any case, there aren't too many rules in my society as well. Zhao Yui smiled. Genetic martial arts? Feng Lin opened up the exchange list of the true martial society. There were all types of genetic martial arts before him, with all sorts of abilities. Each of them required a special type of genetic force before they could unleash their full might. Among the genetic martial arts, he saw a mid-martial high-grade turtle snake fist which caused his heart to be stirred. He had seen Zhao Yui using this martial art before. It was a martial art that originated from the Wudong planet and the two Daos of Yin and Yang were integrated within, with the dragon, snake, and elephant stances as well. If he could master it, it would surely be of great help to his five spirits ominous fist art. The number of points needed to exchange for it was 5,000. Senior Sister Zhao, if I provide 100 kilograms of crimson refinement gunpowder to the true martial society, I wonder how many points I can get? Feng Lin casually asked. Zhao Yui's face couldn't help but lit up with joy. The Crimson Refinement gunpowder is now a strategic resource that's extremely scarce within the university. Its value is extraordinary. If you can provide 100 kilograms worth of Crimson Refinement gunpowder, I can make the decision and grant you 10,000 martial exchange points. The turtle snake fist is so cheap. It's only equal to 50 kilograms of Crimson Refinement gunpowder? Feng Lin silently marveled. In that case, what was he hesitating for? He decisively agreed. As the two presidents continued to discuss, the cooperative relationship between the Mythology Collection Society and True Martial Society was formally set. Zhao Yui left satisfied with 100 kilograms of Crimson Refinement gunpowder. Feng Lin also didn't stay idle. He instantly began to practice the turtle snake fist he just received. His punches blasted out like thunder, containing the transformations of yin and yang. He gained insights into the true nature of turtle snake fist, further perfecting his five spirits ominous fist. After practice, he didn't stop to rest and began to use a secret method, the sacrificial refinement technique, to refine the soul summoning banner, leaving behind an initial branding of his own. If he wanted to gain full control of it, he needed to gradually refine it. One would often lose track of time during cultivation. A day passed in the blink of an eye. The black spirit tide finally emerged from outer space, flying over with unstoppable momentum. A great commotion instantly occurred within the Great Wall University. The black tide radiated immense pressure, desiring to destroy the humans here. The spirit life forms seemed endless in number, they devoured the light from the stars in the surroundings. The places they passed by seemed to become a hell of darkness. No matter how strong the will of the humans were, there was no way they could feel relaxed at this moment. Chapter 404, The Opening of Interstellar War. Darkness shrouded the area outside the Great Wall University. The spirit race was like the ocean tides, flowing over in endless numbers. The surrounding stars were like a candle being extinguished by a violent wind. Their energies were sucked dry, becoming dead stars floating in the universe, emitting no hint of aura at all. The twisting figures were like ants bunched together, floating across space, appearing like malevolent and terrifying shadows. The Great Wall University was completely surrounded. There was no gap at all. The endless black tides seemed as though they wanted to engulf the entire Great Wall University, not sparing any lives. In this tense atmosphere, no matter how calm someone was, they would naturally feel nervous. The expressions of everyone were extremely heavy. For a war between different races, neither side could live while the other survived. There were no words of politeness, nor was there any warning. There was only a single response. Open fire. Without any prior conversation or sign, the roars of cannon fire instantly echoed throughout this space. The cannons, which were ready a long time ago, finally blasted out, causing destructive flames to manifest. Quantum extermination cannons, dark matter decomposition cannons, all sorts of energy-type cannons fired. These were all constructed from the peak technology of humanity. Each of them was capable of unleashing incomparably terrifying power that was capable of destroying stars and the most basic structure of matter. A commotion instantly occurred in the black spirit tide as shocking blank holes could now be seen in their formation. However, countless spirit life forms floated over and filled up the holes once again. They seemed endless in number. Numerous giant spirit beasts hovered over stars, continuously absorbing their energy. Their reproduction organs on their large stomachs continued to birth spirit children. Under the stimulation of the astral energy from the stars, the spirit life forms that were just created kept growing. They grew rapidly and became mature in a few short moments. They then transformed into various forms, and all had different abilities. This army of spirit life forms then began their ferocious counterattack. The spirit octopuses gathered together in droves and formed a huge group that resembled a giant electromagnetic ring. Electrical energy continued to gather within the coil, and after a certain point was reached, an immense electromagnetic blast shot out. Numerous spirit monsters resembling man-eating plants opened their maws and embedded themselves on the stars to absorb their energy. They unleashed a powerful wave of radiation that flowed toward the Great Wall University. Numerous giant spirit pythons coiled together. Their energy revolved unceasingly within their bodies as strong electromagnetic fluctuations could be felt. This would affect the energy signals used within the star fortresses, causing countless machines to become blind as they lost connection. The spirits were energy life forms. They could naturally control all sorts of cosmic energy in the universe and had a myriad of ways to attack. They could join forces with each other, and their attacks were like ocean tides, coming waves after waves, wanting to engulf the Great Wall University. The interstellar warfare's curtain had been pulled open. Even for the fortresses that were constructed by steel, they were trembling under the might of the attacks. This naturally also caused a commotion within. Activate the energy barrier. A voice roared in anger. Energy barrier is activated, 10%, 20%, 30%, 100%. A thick protective barrier shone with light. It gradually became corporeal and was as tough as a wall, protectively surrounding the star fortresses, not allowing the slightest gust of wind to enter. Boom, boom, boom. Many electric blasts were fired, creating ripples in the energy barrier, but the power behind those attacks was disintegrated into nothingness. The countless cannons on the fortresses began to counterattack. The blasts of the energy cannons illuminated the sky, creating a blinding glare. Everywhere the energy waves passed by, all living things would instantly disintegrate into a fine powder. Even the simplest molecular structure wouldn't exist. This interstellar war just started, but the situation instantly intensified, entering a climax. The roars of cannons sounded out, the explosions thundered through space, the surroundings trembled. An interstellar war filled with the colors of science and technology was displayed before everyone. Feng Lin also had a face filled with shock now that he had witnessed this. After seeing this, he knew that the shivers he felt from this magnificent scene of destruction could never be replicated from watching the war through a recording. The aftermath of the attacks was incomparably terrifying. All substances that came in contact with the blasts were thoroughly disintegrated. Even cultivators whose life level had evolved were also like ants before the might of such technology. If they were embroiled within, they would instantly turn into cosmic dust. After the initial probing attacks, the star fortresses of the Great Wall University no longer hid things. They directly took out their killing trump card. Metallic shells inside the cannons were ejected near sublight speed via electromagnetic acceleration. The metallic shells looked extremely backward, like it was a technology product from previous eras. However, once they were blasted out, they immediately attracted the attention of countless people within and without the star fortresses. The eyes of all humans were filled with anticipation. Would this spirit race's bane be as effective as before and display its godly might? The result didn't cause them to be disappointed. The metallic shells were shot into the spirit tide. They instantly exploded, causing clouds of red mist to fill the air as they continued to spread out. Those spirit monsters that came in contact with the red mist instantly ignited. Their bodies burned with blazing flames and spread like the plague, infecting those near them unceasingly. The molecular structures of the energy-based spirit life forms were destroyed one by one. They became huge balls of fire that burned resplendently. The crimson refinement gunpowder was a catalyst for energy reaction. The quantity of the red mist wouldn't be reduced by much, but the effects were exceedingly great. The duration of the red mist burning was also extremely shocking. The black spirit tide was instantly thrown into chaos. Blazing flames spread everywhere. And everywhere the metallic shells blasted toward, huge fiery holes would appear, widening endlessly. No matter how the spirit monsters tried to rush over to fill the holes created, they only became fuel for the fire. They no longer had a way to fill the ever-widening holes. The black spirit tide was in an uproar. The red flames were churning like ocean tides, causing chaos to descend onto the spirit race. This was the first time the Great Wall University occupied an advantage. Cheerings could be heard all around from the humans. The Crimson Refinement gunpowder has displayed their effects. This item truly is the bane of the spirit race. In the future, it would be easier for us to resist the spirit race's invasion. With this, we have one more trump card. Maybe, we might even be able to take the initiative and launch a counterattack. The faces of everyone were filled with excitement, like they could see a ray of hope for victory. However, Feng Lin, the inventor of the Crimson Refinement gunpowder, didn't feel it would be so easy. This wasn't because he had no confidence in humanity. In truth, he was very clear about the might and limits of the Crimson Refinement gunpowder. Although this substance could slow the violent attacks from the spirit race down, it wasn't enough to mitigate the great distance between the strength of the two civilizations. If they had the naive thought of depending on a single trump card to annihilate an interstellar race, humanity would have already become extinct on numerous occasions. Hence, intelligent humans would never be so optimistic. The reality was as he expected as well. After suffering the powerful effects of the Crimson Refinement gunpowder, the spirit race suddenly took action. The spirit race had already discovered the effects of the Crimson Refinement gunpowder in their earlier clash. No way they didn't make preparations to guard against it. Countless ripples spread through space as intense energy fluctuations caused interferences. Over 10 wormholes suddenly opened up as numerous spirit black holes floated out. They then began to inhale, creating a strong suction force like that of black holes. The immense suction force instantly caused the Crimson Refinement gunpowder to burst into flames. The flames, the remaining clouds of red mist, along with many of the spirit life forms that caught fire, were all devoured into the stomachs of the spirit black holes. There were no movements from those devoured beings after that. Chapter 405, Spirit Mechanical Invasion. The spirit black holes floated in the air. Sound waves, light waves, particle waves. All sorts of energy waves weren't able to spread. They were completely devoured silently by the spirit black holes. When the spirit black holes appeared, they instantly started to devour their own kind. The spirit life forms on fire, caused by the Crimson Refinement gunpowder, were all devoured cleanly. Nothing was left of them. The cannons of the Great Wall University fired unceasingly. Metallic cannon artillery shells arced through the air, but the spirit black holes didn't hesitate and swallowed everything. Matter was a super stable structure that energy life forms did not have. Feng Lin understood that the spirit black holes had highly concentrated energy structures, to the point of forming semi-material states. This was why they could resist the destructive effects of the Crimson Refinement gunpowder in their stomachs. For a time, all the Crimson Refinement gunpowder was completely devoured. This weapon that humans created to deal with the spirit race had now all lost its effectiveness. But this didn't mean that the spirit black holes didn't need to pay a price. The spirit black holes could even devour red tides of flames. If they devoured too much, the quantity consumed would lead to a qualitative change. During these few days, Feng Lin led the refinement chamber to produce over 1,500 kilograms worth of Crimson Refinement gunpowder. With such quantity, the amount of destruction they could cause to energy life forms would definitely be extremely terrifying. Even for the spirit black holes, it was impossible for them to endure it completely. From the depths of the black hole-like bodies, a red light began to flash. The flames created slowly caused the temperature to rise within them. Feng Lin narrowed his eyes. He instantly knew that the energy structures of the spirit black holes were swiftly crumbling apart. However, the spirit race was an alien race with intelligence not inferior to humanity. Just by blocking the might of the Crimson Refinement gunpowder, they had already achieved their purpose. They didn't mind paying some price to accomplish their objectives. A wormhole opened again, the spirit black holes obeyed the rules of their race and entered. When they appeared again, they were already at a location extremely far away somewhere in space. All of a sudden, they exploded like a supernova. It was only a long time later did their light reach the location where the battlefield was. They sacrificed over 10 spirit black holes and the spirit army, finally managed to shift all the threat constituted by the Crimson refinement gunpowder away. The Crimson refinement gunpowder no longer had a way to threaten them. The war instantly reverted to a state of balance. Both sides kept continuing a war of attrition. The sounds of cannons echoed through the air. The situation of the star fortresses didn't seem optimistic. The spirit tides were boundlessly vast. All exits of the Great Wall University were locked down by the spirit race. There was no way for them to request reinforcements, thus, they could only participate in a war of attrition. This was a showdown of strength against strength. There weren't many tactics involved. And in an interstellar war like this, weaponry of science and technology dominated the battlefield. Their power was such that strategies were completely useless. Only when two sides were equal in strength would the military strategy be of use. And this was why it reflected the intelligence of the previous generations of people in the Great Wall University. The fortresses of the Great Wall University were built on fixed stars. The fortresses could draw on the energy of the star for their own use. Stars underwent high-intensity nuclear fusions all the time. They were like gigantic atomic bombs with endless energy. It was enough to sustain the energy consumption of a fortress for a very long time. All sorts of radiation energy clashed in the air. The flames of war blazed brilliantly as both sides bombarded each other for 3 days and nights. And everyone inside the university was storing energy and waiting for the final battle. At that final moment, everyone would rush out, fighting for their race. I will protect my own race. At this moment, everyone felt the same. But fortunately, the star fortresses in the Great Wall University that were built by the senior generations were sturdy enough to withstand the artillery fire of 3 days and nights. The energy barrier was extremely well fortified and didn't crumble. Even after 3 days, humanity still had not fallen into a perilous situation with their defenses overrun. And after failing to take down the Great Wall University for a long time, the spirit race couldn't endure any longer. Or maybe, they were waiting for a mature opportunity, and their attacks changed for the first time. Boom! Another giant wormhole was opened. A mothership-like gigantic spirit life form suddenly floated over from the crowd of spirit monsters. It exhaled, and numerous mechanical machines formed from alloys appeared in all shapes and sizes. Octopus, tigers, elephants, these were all mechanical beasts. The spirit life forms then entered the bodies of the mechanical beasts, and the initially lifeless mechanical beasts all seemed to have gained a soul. They instantly became active, their eyes shone with a red light as they rushed over ferociously. As an alien race with intelligence, the civilization of the spirit race was completely different from humans. Their civilization was more similar to the structure of a bee colony. Their science and technology weren't inferior to humans at all. They actually managed to forge a set of mechanical bodies for themselves. The mechanical beasts continued to rush forever. They slammed their now physical bodies into the protective barrier, wanting to break it. The energy from the protective barrier blasted into the mechanical beasts. It was unknown which alloy they were constructed from, but they could withstand great temperatures. They endured the damage, managing to squeeze their way inside the protective barrier. Rumble. The cannons of the university instantly blasted forth. The first wave of mechanical beasts that managed to breach the protective barrier was instantly crushed by the return fire. However, the numbers of mechanical beasts were thousands upon thousands, and they came in unending waves. They didn't fear death at all. They forcibly endured the cannon fire and directly rushed to the main camp within the star fortresses. As the mechanical beasts formally invaded, the first phase of attacks had already passed. Now, everything would boil down to single-man battles. The star fortresses were ready for this. Countless cultivators wearing micromecha armor rushed out like a swarm of bees, fighting against the mechanical beasts. The scene was simply chaotic. Gunfire, fresh blood, flames, the cruel yet inspiring war continued. Countless cultivators rushed out to reinforce the first wave. They ignored their lives and deaths and simply sought to take as many mechanical beasts down with them as they could. Within the Great Wall University, a solemn voice suddenly echoed, "From now onwards, a new mission shall be issued. Hunting the mechanical beasts and defend the Great Wall University. Killing an ordinary spirit mechanical beast will net you 1,000 contribution points. Killing a large-scale mechanical beast will net you 10,000 contribution points, and killing gigantic-scale mechanical beasts will net you 100,000 contribution points." During an interstellar war, the rewards given for missions were extremely abundant as well. Under the attraction of such rich rewards, there would surely be those bold enough to give it a try. Killing intent permeated the atmosphere everywhere. Kill, kill, kill. For the sake of our race. Kill. We must take revenge for our father. The blood coursing through the veins of all humans ran hot. Countless young students of the university also equipped their micromecha armor and rushed onto the battlefield like heroic warriors. Feng Lin also felt a burning excitement. Although his military rank was already at the first lieutenant level and there was no need for him to personally enter the battlefield, he wasn't willing to lose out to others. His micromecha armor radiated energy waves as Feng Lin's figure disappeared into the masses of chaotic battles all around here. Chapter 406, Fighting for the Sake of Humans. The metal currents came charging over and the spirit mechanical beasts appeared savage, baring their teeth. Their bodies of steel appeared to be unshakable. Everywhere they passed by, everything would be completely destroyed, leaving only a barren state. Many figures charged forth relentlessly, turning into many insignificant images within the massive background of the battlefield. However, it was a touching sight. The Great Wall warriors and cultivators who wore micromechas were unafraid of death, fighting head-on against the sturdy mechanical beasts. Energies clashed and sparks kept on splattering. A bell-like sound reverberated throughout the space like a voice that came from the soul and resonated in everyone's heart for very long. Great Wall warriors, students from the Great Wall University, over 6,000 years ago. Our ancestors walked out from the desolate solar system and opened up this massive star region. However, the universe is dark and brutal, and we mankind were constantly subject to the threat of extinction. No eggs can remain unbroken when the nest is ruined. Right now, we're standing here, standing in this Great Wall University. We're guarding the first line of defense for our star region. What we have behind us is the vast star region that our ancestors had protected for several thousand years with their blood and lives. It's the greatest asset that had been left to us. Once we fall, countless of our companions will be exposed to the spirit race's claws and teeth. They'll die horrible deaths. Therefore, we have nowhere to retreat to. We mustn't retreat either. Everyone, fight for the Great Wall, fight for our race, fight for mankind. Fight. 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 Fight for mankind. That voice was strong, powerful, and blood-boiling. As if facing an aggrieved destiny, the warriors cried out loud, filled with immense battle will, unafraid of death and unshakable. Everyone's hearts were seething with hot blood and their bodies were all trembling. They were craving for battle and their gazes were filled with unshakable determination. No one was thinking about distracting thoughts. There was only one voice that kept on seething in their minds. Fight. 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 Fight for the sake of the Great Wall, for the sake of their race, and for the sake of mankind. Watching as those spirit mechanical beasts came surging over, there were only ice-cold intents left in all the interstellar humans' eyes. If you want to fight, then I shall fight. Many figures charged forth from the Great Wall University, with flesh and blood colliding against metal. At the instant the two waves collided, killing cries surged into the sky and brilliant sparks were produced. Vacuum Frost Punch. As the punch struck out, icy cold currents surged, bringing absolute 0 degrees, as if wanting to freeze up everything in front of it. Everywhere the cold currents passed by, the spirit mechanical beasts would start to freeze up from the outside and their massive bodies suddenly stopped moving, being completely frozen. Boundless flames of hell. Blazing flames rapidly extended out like a domain, bringing about scorching temperature that was like the strong sun, wanting to melt everything in the mortal world into dregs. Many mechanical beasts fell into it and were instantly melted, completely roasted together with their spirit energy system. Darkness extermination. Black dark matter spread out like astonishing waves, coming one after another, drowning the place. Regardless of what form normal matter in the universe took, once they were to collide against dark matter, they would all be wiped out. All matter's energy form would completely collapse, sending a tremendous amount of energy permeating out and implicating even more mechanical beasts. The first batch of interstellar warriors clashed with the black spirit waves, and many of them were powerful existences with astonishing means. The continuous power waves that they sent out kept on undulating and started off the battle's prelude. Genetic martial arts with ferocious moves, genetic power with varying prowess. Wind, fire, thunder, electricity, gravitational forces, electromagnetic force. All sorts of the universe's energies were being controlled by humans, displaying great prowess as they swept out. Mythological genes could let the human body keep on evolving, gradually reaching a degree where they would be able to face the powerful races in interstellar space. There were endless evolution possibilities. This was the real reason why, although the interstellar humans were considered to be only at the lower middle range in the universe for their technology, they had strong vitality like the cockroaches that could never be killed. Moreover, they would get stronger as they fought. The spirit mechanical beasts were also very powerful and unafraid of death. The waves of spirit mechanical beasts gushed forth, drowning everything in front of them. They had all sorts of strange appearances and forms, with some being as small as an elephant, some being as big as a whale, or even some as massive as a continent. They came in great numbers and gathered together like a swarm of bees, forming dark clouds and surging over. Bang bang bang. Many cannons appeared on the mechanical beasts' bodies, and they fired out thousands or 10,000s of guided missiles across the air. The battlefield was filled with the sound of energy explosions. Bodies of flesh and blood kept on colliding with the mechanical beasts, killing non-stop to the bitter death. Feng Lin was amongst the crowd and he had also encountered an opponent. This was a wolf-type robot monster with 3 heads, each having a horn. It had 7 tails and appeared ferocious. The instant it saw Feng Lin, that 3-headed wolf immediately shot out a red laser that pierced through rapidly. It was sharp and scorching like a light sword, one that was capable of slicing void space apart. Monkey King Domain. Feng Lin didn't say a single word and performed his strongest move. A battle between races was won to the bitter death. Either you die, or I die. It'd be courting death to be thinking of holding back at this point. One could only survive by killing the opponent. After the Monkey King gene had been strengthened to 4 points, the area of the domain expanded out to 12 meters, forming a 3-dimensional space. All the energies within this space were in his control. Refraction. Streams of lasers shot over, but with nothing else except a single thought from Feng Lin, the air started to move and many layers gathered, forming like a mirror. The laser beams were instantly reflected and struck the wolf-type mechanical beast, causing it to turn completely charred and break apart at many sections. Feng Lin's hand grasped lightly in the air and thunderbolts gathered, forming a material long lance. Go! With a deep bellow, he lifted the long lance and tossed it out fiercely. The thunderbolt lance had unrivaled brilliance, and it pierced into the spirit mechanical beast's body, obstructing its operations and completely destroying its system. The mechanical beast's eyes kept on flashing red light, and it was radiating electricity all over. In the blink of an eye, it exploded and scattered out in the sky like fireworks. Thereafter, Feng Lin continued to attack ruthlessly, creating thunderbolt lances in succession and kept on tossing them out. The electric lances came down like rain, and every single one of them struck an enemy, causing the enemy to explode. However, although this killing means was amazing, it depleted too much genetic power. He wouldn't be able to last long like this. However, the raging waves of mechanical beasts were endless. Feng Lin gave it some thought and decided to change his plan. He gathered all of his genetic power onto the surface of his skin, forming a layer of defensive crust to protect himself. A sewing needle appeared out of nowhere in the sky, forming a 3-meter-long metal cudgel in the blink of an eye. He held onto it firmly with his hand. Feng Lin laughed. "Old pal, it's been very long since we've fought together. Let's enjoy the fight today." The moment he finished his sentence, he became one with the cudgel and his body turned into a series of afterimages that soared into the sky. Under the reinforcement from the heart monkey force, the metal cudgel's weight increased explosively. It felt as light as a feather when it swung out, but heavy as Mount Tai when it landed. It brought about extremely violent and massive force, sweeping away all obstacles in its way, wanting to destroy everything before it. These mechanical beasts might have bodies of steel to others and were hard to handle, but they were fragile like tofu before the measureless divine metal cudgel, an ancient divine weapon. With one strike, many of them were turned into scrap metal. Feng Lin's aura was strong and he kept swinging his metal cudgel in circles, forming an inviolable barrier that even those ferocious spirit mechanical beasts were unable to get close in the slightest. Chapter 407, The Golden Monkey Swings the Massive Cudgel. Woo woo woo. The metal cudgel released swooshing sounds, forming a condensed circle that was like an impenetrable barrier. Once something landed within it, they would be heavily struck by the cudgel and crushed into pieces. Even if one had a body of steel, they would break into pieces and scatter everywhere. The measureless divine metal cudgel was a divine pillar that could hold up a continent. It was extremely sturdy and wouldn't rust through the passage of time. The place where Feng Lin stood became an inviolable area, bringing about a storm with his cudgel. Wherever the cudgel's force passed by, everything would be completely crushed. The spirit mechanical beasts were unable to get close and quickly got out of the way. The spirit monsters in their bodies possessed intelligence and knew their stuff. When they saw this scene, they immediately evaded the metal cudgel's defensive circle and attacked the Great Wall Fortress. The first mission that these mechanical beasts had was to attack the Great Wall University's sturdy fortress. Now that Feng Lin was standing in their way, they immediately dodged and didn't choose to fight head-on. However, even though they evaded, Feng Lin wasn't willing to let them off. He took the initiative to head toward them and engaged a small team of mechanical beasts that wasn't far away. These mechanical beasts were all similar and their figures appeared like a massive metal head, revealing a huge eye. Race, interstellar human, carbon-based life form, vitality of over 5,000. Seeing Feng Lin getting closer, those single-eyed monster immediately shot out green light onto his body, as if wanting to pierce through him completely. The numbers kept on flashing, analyzing non-stop. Feng Lin shuddered and instinctively activated the Monkey King domain. The heart monkey force condensed as if it had taken a material form, barring out all probing attempts outside. The single-eyed monster's probing stopped abruptly. There were no loopholes around Feng Lin, and it was impossible for him to leak out any more information. On the contrary, as his eyes opened and closed, they radiated out streams of silver light and powerful spirit force. It was like many pairs of invisible hands, and he abruptly unleashed it. Wherever the force passed by, it would instantly encompass those single-eyed monsters, capturing all of them. Those mechanical beasts' single eye radiated out streams of electricity. They wanted to break free from the invisible restraints, trembling non-stop. Bang bang bang. They gradually broke free from the invisible spirit force ropes. However, Feng Lin succeeded at one go, so how could he possibly give them the chance to react? He moved very quickly like a golden monkey performing a somersault. Woo woo woo. The metal cudgel swung through the air and instantly split into thousands of figures, striking those one-eyed monsters. The metal figures turned out to be fragile like tofu, unable to withstand a single blow and were instantly smashed into dregs. It was unknown what metal the spirit mechanical beasts' bodies were forged from, but they should be extremely sturdy. However, Feng Lin had the measureless divine metal cudgel, an ancient relic. These intractable metallic bodies were easily crushed under this metal cudgel. Wherever the cudgel passed by, everything would be completely crushed. Suddenly, this group of one-eyed monsters were instantly thrown into great chaos. The remaining one-eyed mechanical beasts immediately radiated out beams that weaved into a net in the sky. It was scorching and sharp. Everything before them was sliced up with ferocity. They wanted to slash Feng Lin into pieces. Open. Feng Lin let out a loud bellow, unafraid. The Monkey King domain was forcibly opened up and everything within the space came under his control. Space became slightly distorted and energies rippled. Those beams seemed as if they had clashed into many invisible mirrors, then refracted in all directions. They ended up blasting those mechanical beasts in the surroundings, causing them to explode. Feng Lin stepped forth amidst the chaos. Great Sage waving the cudgel. The cudgel attacked fiercely, creating great chaos in the starry sky. Feng Lin became one with the cudgel, spinning rapidly in the air like a top. He moved with a great force and heavy weight, but he was extremely fast, creating many afterimages after him. Those one-eyed monsters hadn't managed to break free completely and were unable to put up any resistance, thus pulled into the cudgel attack. Bang bang bang. All of them completely exploded, crushed into many fragments. The many spirit monsters wanted to drift out from their armor, releasing silent roars. They appeared distorted and hideous as they tried very hard to escape. Where do you think you're going? Feng Lin had long expected this and let out a cold snort. The Monkey King domain was extended out like a big net, covering up all of them. Wind, fire, thunder, and electricity instantly gathered together, wiping all of the spirit monsters completely, leaving not even any dregs behind. Under Feng Lin's attack, the spirit race also knew how powerful he was, thus quickly avoiding him. Instantly, wherever Feng Lin passed by, those spirit mechanical beasts would instantly move away, not daring to face him head-on. Feng Lin appeared as if he had no opponents. At this moment, the rest of the people were engaged in an intense battle against the spirit race, putting up a tough fight. They didn't have a great killing weapon like the measureless divine metal cudgel, and using their genetic power to fight against the mechanical beasts was clearly a little lacking. They kept on facing difficulties and the battle became a struggle. The spirit mechanical beasts also knew the idea of fearing the strong and bullying the weak. Feng Lin smiled coldly. Thinking of avoiding me? How can I possibly let you guys have your way? His gaze swept and he shot out like a series of illusions. He rapidly dashed toward a place that was surrounded by a group of spirit mechanical beasts. Is this it? An interstellar warrior was covered in bruises, and the micromecha he was wearing released a piercing red light, a sign that it was on its limit. He kept on panting, his gaze solemn. Once he lost the mecha's protection and his mortal body was exposed to the outer space environment, one could imagine how shitty his fate would be. Facing an impasse and looking at the ferocious mechanical beasts before him, there was a strong savageness on his face. ****, even if I were to die, I'm going to pull all of you down with me. He let out an explosive bellow, and strong flames rose on his body. He turned into a meteor, charging toward the mechanical beasts without any hesitation. He looked as if he was going to crash into them and let both sides perish together. What? At the next instant, his eyes glared furiously as a black shadow forcibly squeezed its way through and smacked down a cudgel attack from the sky with a majestic force. It was as if a great mountain had come pressing down. The violent aura felt suffocating. Boom. The savage and terrifying mechanical beasts were smashed to a pulp in an instant, not allowing even the spirits inside to escape. Thank you. Before he could express his thanks, the black shadow already darted across the sky without stopping, heading straight for the densely packed areas. Wherever he passed by, there would be metal remnants left behind. None of the mechanical beasts were a match for this person. Under the cudgel's attack, all of them shattered. The interstellar warrior gritted his teeth and instinctively followed after him. One person, one cudgel, with unstoppable courage. He managed to clear a path through the raging wave of spirit mechanical beasts. The golden monkey swung the massive cudgel, the foul atmosphere cleared up to become crystal clear. The Sun Wukong mythological path and genes were flawless without any loopholes. Even when facing the spirit mechanical beasts that were forged from alloy, he wasn't subject to a disadvantage at all. With support from his genetic power, he was displaying an overwhelming force. Maybe only the large-scale mechanical beasts at the core of the Great Army could suppress him. Feng Lin kept on killing non-stop on the exterior, gradually charging toward the inside of the raging robot wave. He would forcibly open up a path wherever he passed by. The surrounding interstellar warriors automatically gathered over when they saw that he was so ferocious. They gradually formed a fighting team. The single man and one team shot out like an arrow, progressing forth and heading straight for the interior. That was where the battle was the most intense. Chapter 408, Quagmire Battlefield. The interstellar battlefield was extremely chaotic. It was filled with firing cannons, energy impacts, flooding currents of flesh and blood, and exploding machines. The human race and the spirit race went at each other, a collision between flesh and metal. The flames of war spread out, and many big energy cannons were fired. The Great Wall University's energy shield kept on trembling. Everywhere one could set a sight on had turned into a great massacre field. The strongest warriors from both sides were in an intense battle. There were no such things as opponents. There were only archenemies. Enemies who wouldn't stop until either party died. Every single interstellar human's eyes were bloodshot from the killings. They didn't care what their opponents looked like, if they were big or small, terrifying or beautiful. As long as they weren't humans, they would immediately be killed. There wasn't any room for mercy. Despair and terrifying auras permeated the sky above the battlefield, making it extremely suffocating. The gravitational forces, electromagnetic waves, terrifying radiation, all sorts of energies in the universe were stirred together into a paste. Even the basic molecular structures were completely shattered, leaving only the basic particles behind. It was like the scene after the Big Bang had just taken place. Once any living creatures were to be exposed to this horrific environment, their bodies would probably be subject to cancerization, disintegration, and they would be wiped out. They wouldn't even be able to sustain their lives and existences. Everything else would be completely meaningless. The center of the chaotic battlefield seemed as if it had become a black hole that engulfed lives. Flesh and blood scattered across the outer space, and remnants of mechanical parts came crashing down like rain. Many interstellar warriors and the Great Wall University's senior students used their bodies, unafraid of death as they clashed against the spirit mechanical beasts. Blood splattered and lives fell. The battlefield was very intense, and more people suffered heavy injuries and could no longer do battle. Under their comrades' protection, they quietly retreated. The Quagmire battlefield caused many people to sink, unable to free themselves from it. They ended up paying a great price with their lives. However, at this moment, a small team of people charged up against the flow, standing out from the rest. Feng Lin kept swinging the metal cudgel in his hands with the force of 300,000 caddies. The metal cudgel was heavy as empty tie, but it moved agilely in Feng Lin's hands like a sewing needle. Each time he swung it, it was as if he was going to crush everything before his eyes. The spirit mechanical beasts kept charging over, unafraid of death. They ended up all being smashed into pieces. The spirit lifeforms' faces became distorted as they escaped from their metal shells. The group of interstellar warriors that followed behind Feng Lin quickly started to harvest their lives. Since they had been chosen by the Great Wall University to participate in this interstellar battle, they naturally had their means to deal with spirit lifeforms. Energy disturbances, electromagnetic resonance, ionic freeze. All sorts of energy beams were released from the hands and the spirit lifeforms were wiped out. With Feng Lin charging in front as the arrowhead, a group of people followed closely behind him. The work was well distributed and they cooperated, their battle prowess surging tremendously. The terrifying spirit mechanical beasts were all crushed into pieces, without any ability to resist. Wherever the small team passed by, they turned into a meat-mincing machine. They headed against the flow without any hesitation, straight for the deepest part of the battlefield. This scene stood out a lot on the deadlocked battlefield. There would occasionally be astonished gazes looking toward them. The people in the Great Wall University couldn't help but feel their blood boiling as they watched this scene. Go for it. Charge in and smash this damned mechanical *******. Let them know how amazing we the interstellar humans are. Protect the Great Wall, protect mankind. The many voices rooting for them in the distance boosted the morale of the team. However, Feng Lin was unaware of all these. He was immersed in the massacres, sucking a 9 revolutions birth transformation pill he had previously refined in his mouth. The pill's strong medicinal prowess gave him sustenance, allowing him to continue fighting. His metal cudgel kept on sweeping out, and many spirit mechanical beasts were completely shattered, turning into actual contribution points. 2 hours passed by very quickly. He killed over 100 mechanical beasts single-handedly. That was equivalent to 100,000 contribution points. The many spirit mechanical beasts that appeared extremely terrifying in ordinary people's eyes seemed like great gift hampers that were sent to his door. The group of interstellar warriors who followed behind him to pick up the loot he missed also earned great benefits. Not only were they a lot safer, but the amount of merit they gained also spiked up rapidly. All of them couldn't help but feel overjoyed. However, Feng Lin didn't pay any heed to these little things. He felt that there wasn't any more challenge in hunting these spirit mechanical beasts. His gaze locked onto another place. In the distance, a group of mechanical beasts was creating huge damage everywhere, hunting down humans. The one in the lead was a spirit mechanical beast with the appearance of a giant. However, it had 3 heads and 6 arms, appearing hideous and terrifying. Surrounded by a group of mechanical beasts, it was like a violent and raging ruler. Its 6 eyes kept on spurting out flames, lightning, laser beams, many energy attacks, and its 6 arms kept on striking out with extremely strong forces. The moment the interstellar warriors got too close, they were instantly smashed into meat dregs, dying very pathetically. Large-scale mechanical beasts. Feng Lin thought. The size of this mechanical giant was at least 10 times bigger than other mechanical beasts. It was as tall as a small mountain and stood out a lot. He did a little probe and realized that this mechanical beast had the battle prowess of at least an adept. Its metal body was even sturdier and unshakable. Ordinary mechanical beasts would all be crushed under Feng Lin's metal cudgel, having no power to resist at all. He wanted to try his limits against the other spirit mechanical beasts. With this thought in mind, Feng Lin charged out straight for the mechanical giant. What? That's a large-scale mechanical beast. You can't go over. That's something that only one with top-notch battle prowess of an adept could handle. Back off quickly. Otherwise, you'll die. The countenances of the interstellar warriors that followed closely behind him instantly changed, and they called out toward him. Feng Lin paid them no heed as if he hadn't heard anything. He just kept on charging forward. Great Sage lifting the seas. Feng Lin exhaled loudly. His face flushed and all the genetic power in his body seemed to be seething. His vitality was stimulated to the greatest extent, and the metal cudgel in his hand rapidly became bigger. It came whacking down like a huge heaven-supporting pillar, with a force capable of turning the entire sea over. Man and cudgel as one with great prowess, completely encompassing his opponent. The mechanical giant merely threw a cold glance and struck a punch out. All the cudgel attacks were instantly swept away. Feng Lin was struck and sent flying backward like a missile. His entire body felt as if it had been crushed and he was in great pain. With this one attack, he was immediately dealt serious injuries. He wasn't a match for the mechanical giant at all. The countenances of the interstellar warriors who had come over changed drastically. However, after exchanging a glance, they didn't escape but quickly came over and stood before the mechanical giant instead. After having engaged in the battle for so long, they could already see clearly. Feng Lin had astonishing potential and great aptitude. He already had such terrifying battle prowess when he was only at the Grand Cultivator level, being able to deal great damage to the spirit race. If he were allowed to grow, he would become a primary force against the extraterrestrial races in the future. He shouldn't fall here. Although they didn't know him, they already came to a decision. Even if they had to sacrifice themselves, they mustn't let this person who would become the hope for humanity in the future fall here. At a moment that determined the entire race's life or death, any schemes would appear extremely meaningless. There would only be selfless devotion. The mechanical giant let out a savage laugh and came charging forth with its many vassals. It was as if they were surging floodwater that was going to crush these people. Everyone seemed to be on the verge of collapse, but they didn't back off. Like mantises trying to stop a chariot, just as they appeared as if they were all going to be killed, they bellowed in unison, "Quickly run! We'll hold off this mechanical giant. You can avenge us in the future." They had made up their minds to charge to their deaths, wanting to gain more time to let Feng Lin escape. However, what was replied to them was a cold and deep bellow, "Move!" Boom. Everyone couldn't react in time and was instantly pushed to two sides by a huge invisible force. Feng Lin had stood up once again, with traces of blood left behind on the corners of his lips. His gaze was cold and sharp as he looked straight toward the massive mechanical giant, filled with the intention to kill it. Many gold stars circled around his body, dancing around non-stop like fluttering birds that were light, agile, and free. Their traces were hard to grasp. These were clearly many round golden pills. Chapter 409, Annihilate Large-Scale Mechanical Foe. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Streams of golden light kept on flashing and flickering in the air, breaking through air incessantly and leaving behind countless afterimages that were like a myriad of birds flying around. Their traces were hard to fathom, but their speed was fast as bullets, and there were over 100 of them. The afterimages from the golden light kept on stacking together, forming something like a massive net that encompassed Feng Lin within it. It was impenetrable and protected him from his surroundings. Feng Lin raised both his hands and his heart monkey force gushed out crazily. Over 100 golden pills moved about increasingly faster under his control, releasing swooshing sounds and sending strong gales shooting out. The mechanical giant let a huge number of mechanical beasts gushing over. The group of interstellar warriors blocked the path like mantises trying to stop a chariot, and they looked as if they were going to be completely crushed. Feng Lin's eyes narrowed, and with a movement with his hand, forcibly moved the people away. His figure darted out and he headed straight for that mechanical giant, leaving only a deep bellow behind. "Move away a little. Leave this mechanical giant to me. The battle will get very intense later and I won't be able to hold back. I won't be able to take care of you guys." After saying that, he paid no heed to these people's stunned gazes and pounced forth, with many golden pills circling him. He had been dealt with severe injuries from the punch earlier. If it wasn't because of the stone monkey's strong physique, he'd have been instantly smashed into meat paste, like the other interstellar warriors from before. Despite so, his body was still in tremendous pain as if his bones were going to scatter. This made Feng Lin understand that there was a huge difference between himself and the mechanical giant. He mustn't take this enemy head-on. A person with great strength could win against 10 people who knew martial arts. No matter how powerful the great sage's cudgel art was, it was still futile before a vast difference in vitality. Feng Lin could only dodge the strongest part of the attacks. However, he wasn't going to give up just like this. He had succeeded in refining the crimson gold cinnabar pill and this was the time to put it to use. Otherwise, he'd never be able to find out its damaging force on the spirit race. Go. Feng Lin pointed incessantly with his fingers, and the many round golden pills shot rapidly like bullets. Bang bang bang. The cinnabar pills were as big as a dragon's eyes, densely packed like rain, and extremely tough. All of them instantly smashed onto the spirit giant, and brilliant sparks were created from the collision. This was the greatest difference between the external refinement alchemy pill and the internal refinement alchemy pill. Internal refinement alchemy pill used plants as its base to strengthen one's vitality, while the external refinement alchemy pill incorporated metal and stones and was extremely tough. All medicine had hints of poison in them. If it could be said that the internal refinement alchemy pill unleashed medicinal effects to their greatest limits, while the external refinement alchemy pill unleashed poisonous effects and damaging prowess to their greatest limits. The crimson gold cinnabar pill that was made of many rare minerals in the universe as its material and also had the word gold in its name was naturally as tough as gold and hard to be destroyed. The many pills shot out crazily like bullets, being densely packed like rain and causing non-stop blasting sounds. The mechanical beasts were instantly pierced by the pills and exploded in the air. The moment they came into contact with the medicine, the spirit life forms that had energy-based bodies immediately burned up into golden flames and exploded like fireworks in outer space. The mechanical giant kept on bellowing furiously. Although it had a massive body, it was forcibly pushed back from the smashings after receiving repeated hits. Those pills were as agile as flying birds under Feng Lin's control. They danced and moved around the mechanical giant. The mechanical giant kept on bellowing furiously but was unable to catch these extremely rapid crimson gold cinnabar pill. It ended up being smashed into a pathetic state. After the initial exchange, Feng Lin discovered that the toughness of this large-scale mechanical beast was over 10 times the other mechanical beasts. It was so tough that it was unshakable. If he didn't break through this tough tortoise shell, he wouldn't be able to deal any damage at all. After the initial probing, he had it figured out. It was useless to hide his means anymore. What he should aim for was direct damaging prowess. There was no point to hide one's abilities in a battle like this. Feng Lin no longer held back and moved decisively. He grabbed a pill in his hand and let out a deep bellow. A tremendous amount of heart monkey force channeled into it, and then he suddenly flicked it out with his finger. The pill shot out, and under the propulsion from the heart monkey force, its speed got increasingly faster and it kept on accelerating until it gradually reached a limit. Gradually, the entire pill started to appear blurry and kept on being stretched out, appearing like a golden arrow that broke through the air. No matter how small or light an object was, if its acceleration was fast enough, the closer it got to light speed, that was the greatest limits of matter in the universe, its mass would also be magnified. When its speed was close to being limitless, then its momentum would be inestimable. Feng Lin didn't hold back at all in this attack. He kept on using the heart monkey force to propel the pill's speed, causing it to accelerate close to sublight speed, and its mass became tremendous. The pill cut across the air and even the light rays became distorted. The huge mechanical giant's eye scanned it, and the data kept on jumping until it reached an extremely red warning figure. It instinctively felt a sense of threat. Even if it was a small pill, the mechanical giant didn't dare to treat it lightly. It put its 2 arms in front to block and even formed a seemingly material energy shield in front of it. Boom. The pill came smashing over and the scene instantly became like a collapsing gold mountain toppling a jade pillar. The energy shield that appeared very strong was instantly broken. The mechanical giant's arms couldn't bear the heavy load. Then, a Ikacha sound broke out and sparks splattered. The seemingly tiny golden pill smashed through the layers of defense with great ease, and the mechanical giant's massive body instantly collapsed. Its chest had been penetrated through, revealing a huge hole. Many cracks also appeared on the golden pill's exterior shell, seeming as if it was going to shatter. Feng Lin suddenly let out an explosive bellow. The golden pill suddenly exploded and the explosive force instantly caused the mechanical giant to keep on rolling. However, this wasn't over. Immediately, Another 2 streams of golden lines cut across the air and sank into the mechanical giant's body through the hole in its chest, exploding inside. 3 consecutive crimson gold cinnabar pill explosions. The energy explosions caused the mechanical giant to disintegrate instantly. Golden flames burned brightly. A group of savage-looking spirit beasts wore distorted expressions, wanting to flee from the scene but were engulfed by the flames in the blink of an eye. It was as if there was a torch that illuminated one part of darkness in outer space. The massive mechanical body exploded on the spot and metal fragments shot out. The repercussive waves implicated the surrounding mechanical beasts, and a series of explosions took place. Within a short time, all the mechanical beasts in front of Feng Lin were wiped out. The interstellar warriors who were standing in the distance watched with stunned expressions. They only regained their senses after very long. Feng Lin didn't stop to rest and started killing again. Using his pill-controlling technique, he brought along a tremendous amount of crimson gold cinnabar pills with him. Wherever he passed by, there would be raging tempest and devastating destruction taking place. Seeing this, the interstellar warriors' morale was boosted and they quickly followed after him. Intense battles took place everywhere on the battlefield. To think that a team led by a grand cultivator could achieve such great results in the battle, they attracted many surprised gazes. However, Feng Lin just focused on the killings. The arrival of a chaotic era was a great time for men to earn great merit. The fresh blood and flames of war caused his blood to boil. There was almost no stopping it, and his eyes unknowingly emitted a faint golden color. Vicious auras that seemed as if they would last for eternity filled up his heart and he felt a strong battle intent. To fight and to battle and to win. Fight, battle, and win, thus the name equal to heavens. A strange feeling gradually rose in Feng Lin's heart. In this endless battle, he seemed to have corresponded with some kind of truth. It was as if he had become one with the utterly lawless demonic monkey that had created havoc in the heavenly palace of ancient times. Chapter 410, Impressive Battle Achievements. The killings on the battlefield were incessant. Feng Lin's blood was boiling and his heart was palpitating. He entered a mysterious state. The bloodthirsty aura silently awakened the ferocity that had been remaining in Feng Lin's heart. It was as if he had become one with the demonic monkey in the legends, waving his metal cudgel around and massacring without any restraints, killing endlessly. With the metal cudgel sweeping around, the mechanical beasts were all crushed into tiny pieces. The massacre aura got increasingly thick, causing his eyes to expand. He felt increasingly excited. The crimson gold cinnabar pills circled around him endlessly, like a myriad of birds flying about agilely in the air. It was a beautiful sight that emitted lethal killing intent. Feng Lin kept on killing non-stop. 5 consecutive pill explosions. 5 cinnabar pills floated in the air, assuming 5 different positions and acted in coordination. One of them suddenly exploded and gold flames brought up energy eruption, forming a chain explosion. The 5 crimson gold cinnabar pills suddenly exploded amidst the group of spirit mechanical beasts. The mechanical bodies crumbled and the spirit lifeforms that were hidden within them didn't manage to escape in time, before they were burned by the golden flames, turning completely into ashes. 9 pearls chained. Feng Lin used 9 pearl-like crimson gold cinnabar pills in one go. When one exploded, the energy would pass by each other, stacking up and forming a majestic stretch of flame torrent that gushed over. They instantly shattered a huge mechanical snake, and even the spirit life form within it was completely wiped out. 18 fire formation. 18 cinnabar pills appeared in the sky, forming a formation and suddenly exploded. They encompassed a super large-scale mechanical beast. Even the metallic tortoise shell that seemed to be tough and indestructible started to crack as well. Golden flames penetrated through the cracks, and a spirit life form that had the appearance of a huge tortoise struggled to get out as it bellowed. Its entire body was lit up in flames, and it turned into ashes amidst its cries, with nothing left behind. The crimson gold cinnabar pills were both external refinement alchemy pills and also resembled some kind of one-time use treasure. Feng Lin used the pill controlling technique and unleashed the tremendous amount of energy within the cinnabar pills in one go. Feng Lin kept on attacking with the aim to kill, and the terrifying large-scale mechanical beasts were crushed easily. Such an outstanding performance was rare even in the intense battlefield. It instantly attracted the attention of many big shots. What are those golden pills? Their prowess is extremely similar to the crimson refinement cinnabar pills, but their effects are over 10 times stronger. The flames produced after their explosions are also very similar. It seems to be an improved version of the crimson refinement cinnabar pills. Could it be that Feng Lin has further improved the crimson refinement cinnabar pills? He has formed this solid-state genetic medicine. Its form was a sphere. Is it still a genetic medicine? It resembles the alchemy pills documented in ancient myths and legends. The many marshals in the Great Wall Army stood on top of the star fortresses and observed the battle. The astonishing performance and the consecutive battle achievements from the small team led by Feng Lin caused them to keep exclaiming. They had already decided that Feng Lin's potential was really extraordinary. If he were to grow in the future, he'd become a chief cornerstone in the future battles against the spirit race. What that was even rarer was his battle method. It was unique, like it was specially used for restraining the spirit race. It was unprecedented to have such an amazing killing prowess as a grand cultivator. If he were to truly grow and disseminate his battle method, it might change the battle situation between mankind and the spirit race. Such a seed for humanity's future must be protected well. No matter what, he mustn't be allowed to fall into this brutal battlefield. The marshals exchanged a glance and waved their hands. A group of powerful-looking interstellar warriors in the Great Wall's fortress immediately gathered. All of them had elite adept cultivation, and they hid amongst the battlefield, constantly monitoring Feng Lin's every movement. The moment Feng Lin was unable to dodge a life or death situation, someone would immediately render assistance. The battlefield was a tomb for heroes, but it was also a great stage for a hero to display their capabilities. Only people who really had potential would be able to stand out and become a seed that was valued by the Great Wall University, receiving special protection. Right now, Feng Lin had already entered the eyes of the Great Wall University's upper echelon with his astonishing performance. However, he himself was unaware of this and continued to kill non-stop on the battlefield. The many waves of beasts led by the large-scale mechanical beasts were smashed into pieces. By this time, a small portion of the crimson gold cinnabar pills had been depleted and there were only 70 left circling around Feng Lin. Feng Lin didn't continue to deplete them easily. He clenched onto the metal cudgel and once again displayed his majestic cudgel attacks. There were too many of them, and there was no end even if he continued to kill them. Good steel must be used on a blade's edge. He mustn't use the precious crimson gold cinnabar pills on the ordinary mechanical beasts. The metal cudgel was sufficient to deal with them. The interstellar warriors following behind him weren't to be trifled with either, and they could deal with the ordinary mechanical beasts. Only the large-scale mechanical beasts deserved to have the crimson gold cinnabar pills used on them. After deciding on his plan, Feng Lin utilized both means together. Feng Lin took on the mechanical beasts head-on, shaking them up and kept on gaining new battle achievements. The crimson gold cinnabar pills' prowess was endless and continued to explode in succession in the air. The energy torrents they formed engulfed and drowned many large-scale mechanical beasts. The metal cudgel continued to swing around him, like a capstan of flesh and blood that seethed non-stop. When ordinary mechanical beasts fell into it, they would be crushed into pieces with metal fragments splattering around, forming trash in the universe. Many interstellar warriors worked together with Feng Lin in the lead. They chased after the fleeing mechanical beasts and wiped them out viciously. Feng Lin's team earned great battle achievements within a short period. Wherever they passed by, the mechanical beasts in the area would be wiped out. The crimson gold cinnabar pills were used quickly like flowing water, earning Feng Lin a tremendous amount of contribution points, 300,000 points. This meant that there were at least 30 large-scale mechanical beasts that had died in his hands. Moreover, the number of small-scale mechanical beasts that died in his hands was uncountable as well. He had refined too few crimson gold cinnabar pills. Feng Lin felt regretful as he looked at the remaining 18 cinnabar pills. Although he had already tried his best to refine more crimson gold cinnabar pills previously, he had still underestimated the intensity of this battle. The depletion rate of the crimson gold cinnabar pills far surpassed that of his imagination. Once they were fully depleted, it'd be hard for him to deal significant damage onto the large-scale mechanical beasts. At the thought of this, Feng Lin stopped acting abruptly. He had hunted enough large-scale mechanical beasts and it'd be meaningless to kill more of them. The remaining crimson gold cinnabar pills must be kept for the big targets. He then returned to the battlefield in search of the target. Boom. Suddenly, a series of tremors appeared in the starry sky, bringing forth violent energy waves that came surging in an overwhelming manner. Even the battlefield was drowned by it, and both the interstellar warriors and spirit mechanical beasts instinctively backed off and looked over in fright and astonishment. The Great Wall University's energy shield that was like an impregnable fortress was forcibly opened up. A huge black shadow cast down from the highest point of the starry sky, seeming as if it had blocked out the entire sky. Everyone felt as if their hearts had been suppressed by a huge mountain. A great pressure rose in their hearts, and they couldn't summon any will to put up a fight. A gigantic fellow had appeared.